So now, driving up, you've got a lot of greenhouses around here. How much space do you have dedicated to growing cucumbers?
We have altogether we have 22 acres. 2 of those acres are focused on propagation, so we only grow our own transplants there, and then the other 20 are for production like this.
So now we can already see, and you said that you've been kind of in harvest mode for the last week or so. You can see some cucumbers hanging. Now the first thing that strikes mind, I mean, I grow cucumbers at home once in a while, and they're spread out, they take over the garden quickly. You've got them hanging up. What's the reason for it?
Okay, so we have them hanging up, and we actually have to wind those plants in. We go through 3 or 4 times a week, winding the string around the stem, and then we also prune out the growth that we don't want. So every leaf will have a cucumber and a little shoot, and most of that will be removed up until the top of the plant. Otherwise, it just becomes a big bush, a little bush really, and a clump of grow. Whereas we want to train the plant up high, so it's getting the most use of the light, getting the most light exposure for the cucumbers, and also making it effective for harvest and working in the crop.
So now, from that time that you plant it right in that little box right there, how long before they're this big and ready to harvest?
Okay, well, we seed directly into that little block that you were just pointing out. And it takes when we plant them in the greenhouse 29 days old, they're 45 centimeters tall, and so after that they grow fairly
these
quickly.
Flowers obviously are kind of where they're starting. How long from the point when they're going to flower until they actually start producing the cucumber, actually see that cucumber?
And it's interesting to know that there's a significant difference from that time that it takes from flower to harvest. Now there's a lot of variables. But the biggest one is the time of year. And this time of year, it takes at least 12 days, I would say. In the summertime, more like 7 days. But it depends a lot on how many fruit are there hanging on the plant. I mean, there's only so many stimulants to go around, and so the more cucumbers that are growing at one time, the slower they're all going to grow.
Oh, okay. And then I'm assuming the shorter time in the summer is because you've got more light coming in through the roof.
Exactly. A lot of times people think that greenhouses, we're immune to the weather, and they think of us maybe as kind of a factory, but the reality is this is agriculture. We very much depend on the weather, and I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it's dark and raining right now. So very little photosynthesis will happen on a day like this, and the production will immediately be affected.
Light being one impact. What else impacts a cucumber growing?
Well, certainly temperature is a big